Welcome back, travelers. The fire burns low tonight, and the shadows grow long across these old wooden walls. Perfect, I think, for the tale we're about to share. Come, settle in. Make yourself comfortable. Tonight, our journey takes us to a land where the sun forgot to rise. A place where ancient trees stand as silent witnesses to tragedy, and the living walk carefully among the dead. This is the story of Duskwood, or as it was once known, Brightwood. Let me find the right volume here. Ah, yes. The leather's worn, the pages yellowed with age. The Lore of Duskwood, a tale of light consumed by darkness. There was a time, centuries ago, when Duskwood wasn't dark at all. The forests were green and golden, touched by sunlight that filtered through ancient oaks and elms. Deer grazed in peaceful glades. Rivers ran clear and cold from the mountains. The people who lived there called it Brightwood, and they had every reason to. It was a simple place. Farmers tended their fields. Loggers worked the forest with respect, taking only what they needed. Small villages dotted the landscape, connected by worn dirt roads. Grand Hamlet was the largest of these settlements. Not a city, mind you, but a proper town with a marketplace, an inn, and a small garrison of Stormwind soldiers. People felt safe there. But safety, as we so often learn, is fragile. The change didn't come all at once. It never does. First, the days grew shorter. Or perhaps they only seemed to. Travelers began to report strange sightings in the deeper woods. Shadows that moved wrong. Sounds that had no source. Then came the wolves. Not the normal grey wolves that had always hunted these forests, but something else. Larger, more vicious. Their eyes glowed with an unnatural hunger, and they showed no fear of fire or steel. The people of Brightwood began to whisper about Karazhan. That dark tower had always loomed on the southern border, home to the guardian Medivh. A place of power, yes, but one that most folk knew to avoid. Strange lights flickered in its high windows. Odd sounds echoed from its stones on quiet nights. But Medivh was the guardian of Tirisfal, protector of the realm. Surely nothing truly dangerous could come from his tower. Surely. The farmers didn't know that Medivh had been corrupted. They didn't know about Sargeras, or the Dark Portal, or the terrible plans being laid in that tower's shadowed halls. They only knew that something was wrong. The corruption spread like ink in water. It seeped into the soil. It poisoned the roots of the great trees. The wolves grew more numerous, more bold. Other things began to stir in the dark places beneath the earth. And then the dead started walking. The first reports were dismissed as hysteria. Exhausted travelers seeing things in the twilight. Too much ale at the tavern. But the dead don't stay buried when dark magic runs deep. Zombies clawed their way from graves in the old cemetery near Grand Hamlet. Skeletons assembled themselves from scattered bones in forgotten barrows. Ghouls prowled the roads at night, dragging away anyone foolish enough to travel alone after dark. The town garrison tried to fight back. Brave men and women, truly. But how do you hold a line against enemies that feel no pain, no fear, no exhaustion? Grand Hamlet fell in a single terrible night. The survivors fled north, carrying what they could, leaving behind homes, memories, lives. They built a new settlement, smaller, more defensible. They called it Darkshire. The name felt appropriate, because by then the sun had stopped shining on these lands entirely. Some curse, some terrible working of magic from Karazhan's corruption, had pulled a veil of eternal twilight over the forest. Day and night lost their meaning. There was only the dim, grey gloom, thick as fog, that hung over everything. The trees withered. Their leaves turned black and fell, but the trees themselves refused to die completely. They stood like twisted skeletons, grasping at the dark sky with bare branches. The wildlife fled or changed. The wolves became even more monstrous. Spiders grew to the size of horses, spinning their webs between the dead trees. Things crawled up from beneath Ravenhill, things that had no names in any human tongue. And in the ruins of Grand Hamlet, among the broken stones and collapsed homes, walked Mor'Ladim. A restless spirit, a father searching endlessly for his lost daughter. So powerful in his grief and rage that even seasoned adventurers learned to fear his name. The people of Darkshire built walls. They lit torches that burned day and night. They formed the Night Watch, a militia dedicated to holding back the darkness. But they were fighting a losing battle. Stormwind sent reinforcements, supplies, but never enough. The kingdom had its own problems. Duskwood became a forgotten corner, a cursed land that most would rather pretend didn't exist. Still, the people endured. And so Duskwood remains, even to this day. A land caught between life and death, where the brave and the desperate make their stand against overwhelming odds. The Night Watch patrols the roads, their torches small points of light in the endless gloom. They know every shadow, every sound, every path through the twisted forest. They've learned to fight what cannot be reasoned with, what cannot be redeemed. In Darkshire, the people go about their lives as best they can. The inn still serves warm meals. The blacksmith still hammers at his forge. Children still play in the streets, though they're taught from a young age never to wander beyond the walls. There's a kind of courage in that, don't you think? To build a life in a place where death walks freely, to plant gardens in cursed soil, to sing songs in a land where the sun doesn't shine. The threats are many. Worgen howl in the Twilight Grove, once a sacred place, now corrupted beyond recognition. The Defias Brotherhood has established camps in the southern reaches, taking advantage of the chaos. And deeper still, in places even the Night Watch fears to tread, darker things stir. Ancient evils, forgotten rituals, secrets buried in Karazhan's shadow. But there's hope too, small as it might be. Adventurers come to Duskwood, drawn by tales of mystery and danger. Some seek glory, some seek gold. A few, perhaps, seek to actually help. They hunt down the worst of the undead. They push back against the Defias. They venture into places the Night Watch cannot spare soldiers for. And sometimes, just sometimes, they bring a little light back to the darkness. The people of Darkshire don't ask for much. They don't expect Duskwood to return to what it was. Those days are gone, lost to time and corruption. They only ask to survive, to hold the line, to make sure that when travelers pass through on the road from Stormwind to Strangethorn, they make it through safely. It's not glorious work. There are no parades, no songs sung in their honor. But it's necessary. And that, perhaps, is its own kind of heroism. And so we close the book on Duskwood, at least for tonight. A land that fell to darkness, yet refuses to surrender. A people who've learned to live with fear, but never let it master them. There's a lesson in that, I think. About resilience. About holding on when everything tells you to let go. The next time you pass through those shadowed woods, spare a thought for the Night Watch keeping their vigil. For the families in Darkshire, living their lives one careful day at a time. They deserve to be remembered. The fire's burning low now, and the hour grows late. But there are always more tales to tell, more places to explore. Until next time, travelers, keep your light burning bright, and your courage close. Safe travels.